Our next speaker of the night is Janaki Patel. Janaki Patel is a University of Pittsburgh alum with a major in neuroscience. She will be pursuing a career in neurology with hopes to specialize in stroke of neurophysiology. Janaki loves teaching, learning, helping the community, serving her patients, and helping all those in her life smile just a little bit more. At medical school, she co-founded RU Synapse, a mentorship program for undergraduate students. She also created RWJ Day, a seminar series designed to have medical students help undergraduates get truly excited about the science of medicine. She loves to dance, read, paint, watch football, and spend time with her loved ones in her free time. Please welcome Janaki Patel.
An ACL tear. Symptoms include sudden onset, excruciating pain, followed by severe instability of the knee joint. As I fell, I don't remember feeling any pain. What I do remember was the crushing wave of disappointment, rushing to my body and bringing tears to my eyes at the thought of letting my team down. After the first time I fell, I remember seeing the feet around me, the very same ones that were bruised, scarred, and some even filled with stress fractures, just to get us to this stage, nationals. So I knew I had to try and get back up. My body had other plans. Clearly, severe instability of your knee joint is not something you can just think away. It's funny, isn't it? How passion can drive us to push past our limits, forget pain. In the arts, this passion is celebrated, expected even. We elevate those demonstrating extreme enthusiasm. And yet, in medicine, this concept is lost. Now, I've been thinking for the past few years, what would I share with the world if given a platform like Med Talk? And I realized it's the same thing that I strive to share with every person I meet, regardless of time, place, or environment. It's my smile, the kind of smile that starts in your soul and reflects onto your eyes, a true embodiment of happiness, what every smile should be. So today, I'm here to share with you the secret to my smile, with the hope that I can help bring just a little more happiness into your lives and help you smile from your soul. But why Med Talk? Well, it's no secret that this profession, like many others, is filled with falls, just like the one that you saw on that stage. The pain, as real as tearing an ACL. And the consequences, as dire, if not more. So today, I will share with you my stories and help us smile just a little bit more. But do we all really fall in medicine? Well, in medical school, as we grow in age and gain new burdens, like everyone does, we are now asked to simultaneously cram information at a seemingly inhuman velocity while being underfed, sleep-deprived, broke, and often isolated. And then, in residency, we are asked to perform under conditions that make us miss those medical school days. Being made to feel as though being barely alive is simply just another expected state of being. And then, as an attending, when it's all supposed to be better, we are now expected to be perfection. So how do you keep smiling? with such heavy burdens resting on your shoulders? Well, before I get into that, I'd like to share with you 3 simple truths. 1, perfection is an unattainable ideal, one we will continuously strive to get closer to and yet never reach. And that's okay. Yes, I'm talking to the inner type A personality in all of us, the perfectionist. It's a fact. Accept it and embrace it. 2, we are human, vulnerable to the same pathology and mental illness that our patients are. Accept it and embrace it. But most important, number 3, we have the willpower to fight. And today, I'm here to share with you my tool to help us all keep fighting. And I hope that you accept it and embrace it. But the only thing that I'll ask you to do after leaving this talk today is to just try and use it. It is at the center of my being. It is the reason why I can stand smiling, bolstered with fortitude and confidence, even as my attending fires questions at me to which I have no answers. How I can stand smiling, giving a med talk in front of a bunch of people while I'm still feeling a little nervous. My secret tool, is my passion. Well, Janaki, I have nothing to be passionate about. A tired phrase I hear all too often. When my Eagles were soaring to that Super Bowl trophy, I cried tears of pure passion with my city. And true, it's not always in the form of a loud, rowdy Eagles chant. Sometimes it's being moved to tears after hearing the perfect composition. For others, it's making a commitment to remove misconceptions that have hurt too many people, like Ruby just showed us. For others, it's a dedication to getting angry and involved to make a difference, like Stephen will show us. Passion comes in all shapes, sizes, and forms. But in medicine, it's just a word. Hollow. A tool deployed at interviews to present the best version of ourselves. It is unaccepted, and it is far from embraced. For me, the past few years have been a challenge. Not for academic difficulty, as you may expect. No, it was definitely life that threw the heavier punch. In the hospital, I worked diligently, and then at home, I came to terms with losing my godfather and never getting the chance to say bye to him. I was working. And then, nearly losing multiple members of my immediate family, the people closest to my heart. I'd never imagined them dead. And then, with the next sunrise, I entered the hospital to continue my medical journey. My patients had no idea. I'd venture to guess that most people in my life, attendings, residents, patients, peers, alike, had no clue that any life-changing events had even occurred. And when told of those events, I was often asked one question, the same question: how do you keep smiling? Now, I'd like to take a moment here to say that just because I smile does not mean that I never cried to lament the loss of my loved ones. Sadness, anger, frustration, these are all emotions I have and experience. And that's okay, because that's human. But I return to true happiness, using the tool that I've been creating and perfecting for pretty much my whole life. And the best part about this tool, passion, is that it's free. No apps required, no insurance necessary, and get this, you don't even need to know an ICD code. So I'll be sharing with you my story as just one example. But of more use to you, I'll be sharing how you can start growing your passion. For the purpose of this talk, I'll focus it on 3 pillars of passion that I found to be most relevant in my career in medicine. The first of which being a passion for bioscience, one that we've already heard so much about from our previous speakers, people who are already in their fields. For me, I remember sitting in my M1 lecture, first year of medical school, listening to Dr. Zachow describe his seemingly endless array of colorful arrows, where he somehow managed to cram all of the human physiology into one slide. And I found myself curious about how all these arrows related to my daily workout routine. Now, at this point, I had 2 options, the same 2 that we all have when our interest is piqued. Question, explore, and learn. Or cram, memorize, and move on as fast as possible. Now, I'm not saying that the time to slow down and enjoy is when you're at risk because a boulder is coming to crush you at 100 miles per hour. So please, do not take this, specifically M1s and M2s, as advice to slow down and learn when you're cramming for step 1. Definitely not a good idea and probably will not end well. But we'd all be lying if we said that there wasn't any time ever. It's as simple as going up to your internal medicine attending after the team called a code stroke and your patient is fine and there's a little bit of time. But do you think I could present on this topic? And then take this presentation as your ticket into another world. Learn the language, find the maps and the algorithms to guide you, and ask the questions that genuinely interest you. The great thing when you pick the topic and you present is that you are the travel agent that gets to decide exactly where this journey will take us. Yes, it is work. But did you really think that the secret to true happiness would come without any cost? And considering the fact that I'm a broke medical student, I'm just really glad that it didn't involve money because I have none of that. The next pillar is passion for teaching. Now, I've loved teaching for as long as I can remember. It was always my chance to recharge, watching as my students struggled through their critical thinking journey. The best part is always when they found the treasure, the aha moment, as I called it, when it all made sense and their faces would light up. And there's a special sort of happiness that we can all get guiding someone through this journey and watching them discover, understand, and truly appreciate something that means so much to us. In medicine, we're all given the role of instructor or teacher, as we've heard multiple times today. And it never really ends, whether we secretly like it, like the cranky Dr. Cox on Scrubs, or not. So instead of allowing the time that you share with your students or your patients to pass by as a chore, stop and breathe. And recognize that you will be forced to teach. So you may as well, A, guide your students well so they become proficient and able to actually help the team and you. And B, enjoy their aha moments. Because the joy that you get by helping, being a part of this journey, your students' journey, will culminate into a passion that gives you far more than it could ever take. The final pillar, passion for humanity. This, above all, is the soul of medicine. Commitment to the very people who entrust us with their lives I felt the strength that my passion for these people lent me the first time she looked up from her bed. She held her stomach as if protecting the child in her womb with an extra layer would somehow help. Her eyes darting from physician to husband in confusion. She didn't understand. And in that moment, it didn't matter that she was my first patient or that it was my first day, and seconds prior, I had been apprehensive about what my attending would think about my skills. It didn't matter I'd never spoken Spanish in a healthcare environment before, because her eyes were begging. Please, just tell me. And then there was no fear, only strength. Strength that her need had given me. And from that day on, I realized that though I might be hungry and I might be tired and I might be stressed, and God knows I will be because I already am, and I've heard it's all downhill from here, my spirit would never dampen as long as I remembered to look into the eyes of each and every single one of my patients and their loved ones, to hear their need above all. This lesson was taught to me by my mentors past few years. People who have been in this profession for years, some even decades, and still find it within their hearts to smile. And I've noticed that the fuel to keep their smile going has always been their passion for their patients. Now, this isn't to say that doctors who lack bedside manner have somehow forgotten their humanity. From what I've seen, most have just felt too much pain. And there's no doubt that if we empathize with our patients, we will shoulder some of their pain too. So then how do we allow ourselves to feel their hurt and walk home to our families unscathed? Well, it's not a simple answer. I'm sure that people who have been practicing have not necessarily figured it out altogether. So I implore you, try this just once. Scenario might be a little different. But when you walk into the room of your 85-year-old patient who's comatose, instead of focusing on the sad loss of this grandma, who meant so much to the 50 people standing in that room with you, force your mind to also spend time thinking about how beautiful it is that these people, this family, has come together to support one another in a time of need. And how great an impact this one soul had on all of the lives that it touched. That's what I think about when I think about the godfather that I lost. The scenario is simplified, and we only wish that silver linings were as easy to find, and I concede, they're usually not. The good news, we have help. Therapy. No, she didn't. She said the word. I can almost feel the panic fluttering through the hearts of at least half the people sitting in the audience today. And yes, I planned this because I knew it would happen. But therapy is important. I'm not crazy. I don't need that. That's what everyone thinks, right? Stop. Breathe. Therapy is not for crazies. Just as we go to the gym and sometimes use personal trainers to improve our physical fitness, we go to therapy to improve our mental fitness. The role of a therapist being to help us, guide us to find the objective positive in our reality. When our mind is too clouded with pain, anxiety, grief, to see past it. It's not easy to find silver linings. No less do it seamlessly while working and living our daily, busy lives. It wasn't easy for me to manage my roles and process grief. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't even that sad, though I had moments. But I knew that I had room to be happier. And don't we all? So I went to therapy to make a commitment, a serious commitment to my mental well-being, knowing that just as one person can't build a road alone, one individual can't change the entire neural network of their brain to think positively alone or in one day. And if you're still not convinced that therapy is beneficial, then feel free to talk to me after this talk, and I will give you the boatloads of neurocognitive research that exists to support how much therapy can be beneficial in rerouting physical pathways, neural networks in your brain to help you be happier. Trust me, I could talk about it forever, but I left it out. So the answer to my original question is yes. We did all fall in medicine, and we will continue to do so. But let's get back up each and every single time. It need not be the falls that we hear, see, or remember. When I look back at this video, I have pride because I had the fight in me to keep going and the passion to dance my last dance with my beautiful team together. And I look at my medical school years, and I remember the amazing bonds that I've shared and built with the remarkable people that I've met, patients, peers, mentors. And I remember my journey fortifying my pillars to withstand the strongest of negative winds. Many of us have had countless loved ones supporting us in this path of medicine, whether it's making food and shuttling us off, or just giving us a hug when we need it. And a building may stand leaning on supporting beams. But if the foundation is not strong, it can and will crumble the second that it is truly challenged. You are your own foundation. Mental health and true happiness make that foundation strong. So I've shared with you the secret to my smile. And I've even shared how you can build your own. Time and effort are the cost. But what a small price to pay for true happiness. Build your passion and find your smile.